Yeah, man, it's Worldwide Sounds Records own DJ Chase, man, the pregame party mix podcast on 17 Podcast Networks. We are back, man. Another dope episode for season 2. We on Dynasty Radio Monday nights, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Man, we on that Anchor, we on that Spotify, we on that Apple Podcast, we also on that YouTube DJ Chase TV, man. We got the one, the only himself, the Prince of Fresh Air, aka Percy Brown. What's shaking, brother?
Thank you for having the most charismatic man in entertainment. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast, man. I appreciate it.
Nah, man, thank you so much, bro. And I it's a pleasure always having new people because everybody thinks because I'm a DJ, I just have like rappers on my show all day. I'm like, no, I have actors, I have all types of creatives on my show, so.
Oh no, I completely. I was watching a couple of episodes, and I thought so too. I was like, a lot of rappers, but then I mean, it makes sense. I mean, that's your industry, you're in the music industry. So
but I had comedians on my show. I had a lot of different people. Like even this week, I haven't had an art. No, I had one artist in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I haven't had no artists on my show so far.
I mean, that's the best thing because even on my podcast, I usually switch it up, because you have to have that diverse content. People get tired of hearing the same old. I've been rapping since I was 10. People want to hear different journeys and different stories. So
exactly, and that's what it was too. And then I had Ladies Week. Ladies Week was popping on the podcast. I had 3 female guests back to back, and it was popping. Like the show was definitely popping. I got and Sunday I got a big interview with a guy. You ever watch that show called 60 Days In?
Yeah.
Abner. I got Abner coming on my podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's a good friend. He's a good friend. He's a good friend of somebody that I know, and I booked the interview, so I got him coming on Sunday.
Oh man, let me tell you. I think my junior year of college, so this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I actually applied for 60 Days In, and I got in, but I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going. I'm not wasting 60 days of my life in jail. I'll pass.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions to ask him about it because my wife put me on the show. So I'm like, wait a minute. So when I seen him, I thought it was a joke. And then my friend kept posting him. I'm like, how the hell do you know Abner? But then I kind of knew the correlation. So I'm like, okay, I know what it was.
60 Days In. It's a real joke. Like when they sent me the release form.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no games that, my older brother was at Rikers. And he was telling me about it. He was like, I like to protect myself, right? I have no problem with that. But the environment, being locked down, gangs, gambling, that's not for me.
Yeah. It's a lot, man. So Percy, Mr. Percy, what's going on? Should I call you the Fresh Prince of Fresh Air? What's up?
You call me whatever. You call me the Mr. 240 pounds of twisted steel, the sex appeal, no matter.
Copy, man. So you are a man that wears many hats. You're a man, a jack of all trades. You are a podcast host as well, entertainer, just general all around hustler, entertainer. And you from the West Coast, right?
Yeah, born and raised in New York City. Yeah, all my life. I only been in LA for 2 years now.
Oh, so you from New York?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Manhattan in the Bronx.
Copy. How you like LA?
The weather's nice. But there's nothing like New York. Every time I go back, it's like that's my home. LA is a nice place to be, but no, New York, I plan on going back real soon.
Well, you ain't missing nothing here. COVID shut down everything, so
it's even worse over here.
Yeah,
gym has been shut down for like 7 months. Everything is still closed. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, man. So let's tell the people, let's get started. So the first question is, man, I always do this as an icebreaker for all my guests. Tell the people who you are from your own words. Explain who you are.
Like you said, I'm a man of many talents. I'm an actor first and foremost. That's what I do. That's what I live for. Podcast host. I am an open-minded person. I'm all about promoting positivity and trolling. I like to troll people, get people riled up. But at the core of me, I like to help others, right? That's my mission. That's why I enjoy what I do, because I know that at least one person could take a positive message, or I can, give somebody, someone to look up to, be a role model. So for me, being a role model is my most important feature of all, is trying to help others and inspiring others to achieve better in life,
Yeah, definitely, man. And give some of your because your podcast is popping. Like, your podcast is pretty famous there. So, give some. We're gonna start the acting side, and then we're gonna go into the podcasting side. So, the acting side, what are some of the projects that you've been a part of?
For me, so I've been acting since I was about 13. I went to Urban Assembly School for Performing Arts. I worked with Epic Theater Ensemble. Um, I don't know if you know them, but they're like a non-for-profit organization in New York City. They
Mm,
won a award from Michelle Obama in 2013 for their humanitarian efforts.
mm,
Um, and then I went to St. Bonaventure University for theater 4 years. I've been a part of many Shakespeare plays. I mean, I've been a part of maybe like 15 Shakespeare plays throughout my career. I also competed at the KCACTF festival 2 years ago.
yeah,
That's some long names. I won't say it all, but
you good?
for me, it's been a hell of a journey. Being on stage, TV and film. My first film, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's not Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think it's always. Oh, actually, no. It's actually Always Sunny,
Yeah,
but it's SONY.
yeah.
That just won an award. Just got nominated and won Best Feature Award at Indie Festival. Accept the Call was one of my biggest and one of my most proud films.
Mm,
This one was based off a true story. It's like a documentary style film.
yeah.
Um, it was based off these four black Minnesota teens.
Mm,
This was like 10 years ago.
mm,
Um, they got caught up in like ISIS because they were black and Muslim. So they got
mm,
caught up in ISIS and they were trying to take back their religion,
mm.
and their faith. So that was one of the best experiences I ever had. That's something I will never take away from my career. So that's one of my most highly regarded ones. Um, and just all around, I've been a part of so many projects to name, but every one of them has won awards. The Incoherence. I've worked with a bunch of different colleges. I've done commercials with BET. And for me, it's a journey. It's a journey. I'm still learning. There's still a lot of things I'm trying to achieve, but so far it's been a blessing.
Definitely, man. And being the transition because you're just a general all around entertainer. That's dope, bro. And as we talked about before we went on air, we talked about just not just rapping, but urban like creatives. Like I think in the urban space now, I think since last year, since the protest, it's like being black and a creative now is like the new hot thing. Like, what I'm saying? I see all
Right.
these labels and all these like big companies reaching out to black creatives. Do you feel like, what, now that you're in LA, now that you're settled in, now you're gonna attack more movies, or you're just gonna just do all around, just what I'm saying, just like all around, entertainment. So like from commercials to a big radio, big, not just bigger, be on bigger platforms. Do you feel like you're gonna take part in that more?
Yeah, so that was the main reason why I left New York was
Mm,
because I got complacent, after I graduated college in 2018.
yeah.
I got complacent, and I did work. I'm
Mm,
not saying I was, all around lazy, but I lost the desire. I was just having fun drinking, with the boys and having
yeah.
pizza night, right? So
Yeah.
it's funny, I moved to LA in 2019, and 3 months later I signed with my agency, Avon Artists,
That's crazy.
and it's been a journey. And when I was talking to my agent, one thing he told me was be open minded.
Mm,
Don't come in here just saying you're an actor, you're everything. So for me, I've been doing voiceovers, commercial. I only did one commercial in my whole life, so
that's
now I'm
dope.
doing that. And these are all big projects. It's for like Netflix, Apple, Samsung. Like to be in that conversation is what
Mm,
I enjoy, and it's what I want to do. I don't want to be 35 years old, still trying to figure out my footing in this career. So, for me, moving to LA was to network and to
mm,
build my platform and my base, because you could be the most talented person in the room, but if nobody know you, you ain't going nowhere. So,
exactly.
you know what I'm saying? Celebrities talk about it all the time. The most talented people are never discovered because nobody knows who they are.
Mm,
So for me, coming to LA, you get to meet different people, um, and there's more opportunities out here, especially for the acting side. It's
mm.
so many casting offices, A
Mm.
lot of big films film out here. A lot of TV shows film out here.
Mm.
Not to say New York don't, but it's
Nah,
more of a
I say
range of
I say it
opportunity.
for you. New York is like the dead man's land, bro. It's so dead. Like you know what's crazy, but you know what it is? It's too crowded, and then all the companies left. So like
Yeah.
last year, because you know I work for the post office in my day job, and I'm like all the companies are gone. Like downtown is it's quiet downtown, bro. Like
Is it that bad?
it's bad. It's bad. That's why I was asking you that before. Like I'm like, why are you like you? Trust me, I don't. When the last time you been here?
I was there in August of last year.
Nah, it's bad now. It's worse. It's
Re-
worse. Like boarded up now. It's like remember how like okay you had like Times Square was like a little bit maybe down, but now
Right,
it's
yeah.
like boarded up. Then like it's boarded up like bad.
Damn, what's you know,
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
you know, I be telling my mom about that. I be wondering what is going on because I be hearing, you know, I know New York is expensive, right? I
Oh
already know
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of businesses can't pay the rent.
They pay
You
rent.
know,
Yeah.
people are leaving. I was seeing a lot of the wealthy
Yeah.
celebrities
They
and
getting out
other
of there.
people.
They
Yeah, they all
they
left.
dashing out. They dashing out. Yeah, it's too much because there's no industry here no more. So I'm actually intrigued to see what these geniuses are gonna hold. And but now also too the politicians are screwing the city up now too. That's the thing. So like Cuomo, the governor Cuomo, he's in some sex scandals and
Yeah.
it's
The-
it's it's getting rough. It's getting rough, man. And you know your podcast, the Fresh Prince of Air. You know, a Fresh Air. Excuse me, I'm saying the Fresh Prince of
no, it's
Air.
all
Wow,
good.
Fresh Prince of Fresh Air. I'm looking right at it. I'm like, wait a minute. So you know, with your podcast, could you talk about a wide range of topics on your podcast? I was tuning into. I've been super busy because I'm in the process of moving, but I definitely tune in. And you talk about a wide range of projects. I mean, topics. You know, what what inspires the podcast? You know what I'm saying? Because you have a like you're really dope at that. Like what inspires that?
You know, for me, so it wasn't something I was anticipating on actually doing. So during when the pandemic shut down, the entertainment industry shut down. So I went from getting like 3 to 4 auditions a week to maybe one every 2 weeks. And
Hmm.
so for me, you know, being stuck at home and collecting unemployment. Ooh, now let me stop.
Nothing
But
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, bro. I wish I
um
get it.
I love it, but it when I started the podcast, it was called Controversial Topics. I started it in June of last year, and it was a one-off. I had a little mic that I was doing YouTube videos with, so
Mm,
I used that. Me and my buddy from New York, we just talked about politics, and I started seeing how much of a voice I had and how much I was seeing with the world because I've never been into politics. I've never been into social justice, right? I've always been acting and acting only. That's it.
yeah, yeah.
But I started seeing what happened with George Floyd, the injustice, the social status that we have in America, and the trouble that we're seeing. So
Mm,
for me, I started seeing that, and when I started realizing that a lot of people had opinions about it, and not had opinions about it, I said, What's the best thing to do? Is to have different people come on." And for me, I've had Netflix stars, I've had the typical 9 to 5, I've had YouTubers, and for me, it's not to start trouble. I like to antagonize people, make a couple jokes, but
yeah.
for me, we had to have those conversations because if we don't,
Mm,
we never will. And you see in the media, when you try to have that conversation, what happens? They block you, they delete your social profiles, they call you a racist and all this stuff. So for me, I'm coming from like a middle ground perspective where, you know, because I have people in my corner that I know I can't upset. I want to be like a Gina Carano and get fired. Um, but
yeah.
we have to have those conversations. And as long as people are willing to talk and people are willing to listen, I'm gonna keep doing it. And so far, it's been doing way better than I thought. I was not expecting it to be something a part of my life. It was just a
Yeah.
one-off thing, and it took off life of its own.
Now, podcast isn't the way. Yo, man, let me tell you something. I've been doing podcasts for like 12 years, 13 years, and nobody knew what the concept was. Like, they thought I was crazy. I don't know if you like podcast. It was like a Podomatic. That was like the original like podcast server, Podomatic. That was like years ago, like 2008, 2007.
Oof.
And nobody, everybody thought I was crazy. I'm telling them, like, yo, podcast is the wave of the future. Everybody, because that's like when the internet radio came. But I was on it
Right.
early because I kept trying to. Because what happened was I kept trying to figure out a way to like stream the podcast. So I was like, I mean, stream the radio show. I'm like, yo, I would only take the interview clips, and nobody knew what I was doing, and I just got so frustrated with it. And I was like, you know what, y'all figure it out. But now podcast is the wave. Now this is the everybody got a podcast now. Like
Everybody,
everybody
yeah.
has a podcast now. You know what I'm saying? But definitely, bro, keep doing that. What do you like better? You like the acting work, or do you feel like do you like acting work or better, or the podcasting better?
Oh, acting 100%.
Yeah,
I can never, like, for me, that's my happiness right there. I can't go a whole year without doing anything. So
yeah,
even for me, at the level I am now, when you audition for these big companies and stuff, you make a lot of mistakes, right? I'm not saying that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
to be in a conversation, when I watch commercials I audition for on TV and YouTube and stuff, that's something that keeps me going. Podcasting, if it fell off next year, I will be all right, because I know that acting will pick up again. I'll be able to get work and actually make a living from it.
mm-hmm.
So I love podcasting. I'm not taking nothing from it, but acting is my number one. If I
Yeah.
had to give up one, it'd be podcasting.
Podcasting, right? And what is some of your goals? Like, what do you want to like to attend? Like this year, especially, but things are opening back up because of the vaccine and stuff like that. What do you hope to accomplish this year with your acting?
Um, you know, the ladies got to see this face, right? This smile. People say I look like Chris Hemsworth. I got to stop playing. So
Damn.
no,
No, you definitely do. You definitely do, bro. I see the resemblance, big fella. I see the resemblance.
the hair, the smile. Come on, man. I'm just the man of many talents. But on the real though, for me this year, I don't know what's the story yet. Because the entertainment industry is still shut down. I don't know
Mm,
what it'll look like after. I don't know if they'll go from, I don't know what will happen because there's still a lot of restrictions. We don't know
yeah,
how the pandemic is going to turn out. So we'll see in a couple months. But for me, I'm gonna continue doing the Prince of Fresh Air. The numbers are doing great, so I want to continue building up on it. It's on like 7 platforms now. So
mm,
for me, I want to start pushing it out to bigger platforms and actually focus on YouTube. Uh,
yeah, definitely. You
you
should
know,
that, and that's what I was gonna say too. I was gonna get into that with you too. I'm like, yo, bro, you could do this shit on your own. Like you have the look, like you have the goods to make it work, especially as a YouTube personality. Like I will watch a show. Like I would definitely like watch it. Like I'm on YouTube
yeah.
all day. I don't even watch TV. Like I literally like have Stars, Hulu. What's the other Tubi? I watch Tubi all the time. So
Oh yeah, I have that too.
I'm
Yeah.
a big Tubi fanatic. Like all I watch is Tubi. So you could definitely do some YouTube, man. For real.
So I actually started doing YouTube years ago,
Mm,
but it wasn't consistent. Like I probably upload a video every year, once a year. Um, but I started doing it again because I realized that I could start, making another, I can have my own stream of revenue. I don't have to wait for the next audition. I can just continue having my own thing while, the acting stuff, I'm waiting for the acting stuff to roll in. So for
yeah.
me, I watch Hassan Campbell. I don't know if you know him from
I'm a
YouTube.
big Hassan Campbell fan.
Oh yeah.
I'm from the Bronx, so I gotta know who Hassan Campbell is.
Yeah. No,
I'm
I'm
a
a
big
big fan
Hassan
of
guy.
yeah, I'm a big fan of him. And so I don't copy his style, but
Yeah,
I know this. I notice for me, the videos that do well is when I talk about controversial things. And sometimes what happens is when you have guests on, it depends on the guest because I've had guests that were great, but the presentation wasn't up to par. The
yeah.
conversation, YouTube is a very, you know, short attention span. People click on a video 30 seconds, they're like, I don't want to watch this. So for me, I usually just keep YouTube for myself to
Yeah.
react to certain things. So I'll talk about Gina Carano, I'll talk about Saturday Night Live, I'll talk about Joe Biden, Donald Trump. So I usually
That keeps the people coming in though. Like, oh, you see Hassan Campbell, his video, he doing that on a cell phone. And
yeah, exactly.
he getting all them hits on there because but you know what it is though, he mixes little street stuff in too. That's I think why he gets a lot of hits because I found him by accident. I think YouTube like recommended him or something to me one time, and I just been hooked ever since. Like you know what I'm saying? So he kind of mixes in like he got it to the T though. You know?
Right. Yeah. And that's the important part. And that's why for me, podcasting has been such a great journey for me because one of the biggest things that people say is they love my presentation.
Yeah.
I only started listening to podcasts maybe 2-3 years ago.
Oh, you
And
got to get on it.
but one of the biggest things though is that, people will have great conversations, but the conversation just, it drags on. The tone is just,
Yeah.
yeah, talk like this the whole time.
You
Like,
know who knows a good podcaster? Charlemagne podcast. You ever listen to
oh
that? The Brilliant
yeah,
Idiots.
yeah,
It's so different. Like he's so different. That's what like that's what made me want to do the podcast over like the way I've been doing it. Like he inspired me even with the video now. Like because I've always been doing it, but like because I try to make my podcast more interesting. So I say like having somebody like you. I know that you won't have the conversation like you won't lag on the conversation. A lot of people just be like they ask like what's the word I'm looking for? They ask robotic questions and
right.
they give robotic answers. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I try to mix it up like with education and more like what's going on. But you definitely like the Charlemagne podcast though. You should listen to that, John.
No, yeah, and I listened to your conversation. That's why it was great for me to come on here, because we think alike. And for me, when I do my podcast, I don't like to toe the PC line. I like to
Yeah,
ask those hard hitting questions, and when I have people come on, I let them know in advance, depending on what topic we're doing. But still, I let them know I'm asking these questions, or we're going to talk about these topics, and you
yeah,
know, be open minded. Because a lot of topics people want to talk about, but they don't really want to talk about. They just want to say their piece and leave it. And I don't think it does justice for a conversation where if I ask you something and you give your response and then you don't want to say nothing else, it has to be back and forth, right? And that's the
yeah,
key. The
yeah.
host is the centric part of it, but the guest also plays a big part of it, because
Yeah.
you know
But you know this too, bro. I used to work at Sirius, right? And one thing I learned with radio and podcasting, because that's actually where I kind of got it from. I kind of taught them how to do it because they didn't know what it was. And I used to take the segments and chop the segments up for them. And I used to be like, yo, send this out and put the clips up first. So the best thing I learned is like always do it in a radio format. That's what I do, like how my podcast is clicking. So I
right.
like on the audio version, I put like music, I put like different commercials and things like that in between and like intros and stuff like that to make it more like hand claps and like music beds and stuff like that to kind of make it so it's not like just one long talking thing, like one long talk piece.
Right, yeah, because nobody.
Yeah, I don't want to listen to that.
Exactly. So, and I think it's important to, like you said, add some flavor to it. I add some flavor, some personality. That's why when I do my intro, it don't make sense to some people, but it goes, "Welcome to the most overrated, underappreciated, most viewed, underviewed podcast of all time. Welcome to the Prince of Fresh Air." And then I do my whole spiel, and I have my personality come out. And I think for me, doing voiceover work has helped me, because I'm learning how to use my voice. I'm learning how to, you know, the difference from getting close and whispering on the mic to coming back up and boosting your voice
Yeah,
up. So I completely agree with you on that aspect. Add some flavor, add some personality to your work, because that's when people will tune in and
yeah,
really enjoy it.
definitely. And even with the YouTube, like my YouTube, because I do music too, but I think like with me, I'm starting to learn like, because I've been doing this a long time. So I'll be like, you know what? People like the videos and stuff. So let me start, putting the YouTube videos up. And I'm so glad like now that I could do the videos with Zoom. So now I'm like, okay, now I could like get it clicking and stuff like that. So with your podcast, right? How do you go about picking your guests on your podcast? Like how do you go about picking the people that you want to interview? Because you're very selective when you interview. So how do you go about that?
Yeah, so I have a couple different websites I joined, just off, just because sometimes you have to find new people. I don't only want to just talk to family and friends. I want to talk to different people. So the first thing I do is either people message me or I find someone's profile and I see what they're talking about. I see what they're doing and I reach out. But most of the time lately, it's been people reaching out to me. But what I do is I filter it and I say, what do you want to talk about? Because, for me, some people just want to come on the podcast. But for
Yeah,
me, if you're going to come on, you have to have a conversation. I don't want
yeah,
you talking 15 minutes about, when you were 5 years old and your mom hit you with a Cheerio. Like, I'm not trying to do that. So I'm not too overly picky. Like, I'm not just looking for people with millions of followers or, you know, but as long as you have a voice, you're active on social media and you actually come to the table with, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about this. I'm open to talk about different conversations.
mm,
Then I kind of move forward and see where we're going. It's a tough job, especially for me, because you have to filter out so many people, and then you also have to get people who actually show up and follow. For
Yeah.
me, I have a certain guideline. I'm not that strict. It's a unfiltered, uncut conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some people, they just come in, they clueless, they don't know what they're talking about, or they get very upset when I ask them questions. And I'm like, well, I kind of told you ahead of time what I asked you. And it's not to antagonize you, but it's questions people want to hear. People want to understand your perspective and have a conversation about topics.
Yeah.
So it's getting harder as the podcast starts growing, but as long as people are interested, I will keep doing it. But it's
Yeah.
tough.
Yeah. And what's your favorite topics to talk about?
Oh man. Um I like politics. I like I I do celebrity gossip a lot. I do like celebrity gossip.
Yeah.
Um but for me, as long as it's hard hitting and it's controversial, I love talk. I don't care what it is, I will talk about it. So, there's certain topics like LGBT and politics that people just get riled up. So
Yeah.
I know sometimes I have to, be a little careful and not crossing too many boundaries, but I
Mm.
love those topics because, if someone want to throw themselves under the bus, that's even good for me because I don't have to do it. But I just love controversy. I just love it.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I be trying to do like the talk break type topic, but I'm so like in my own like bubble that I watch a little clip on Instagram, like okay, to like Takashi 69 posted this or did some trolling, but then I'll be forgetting like 10 minutes later. I'm so like entrenched in my own. I gotta get better at that though. Like I definitely have to like. I want to start talking about more pop culture stuff. I just try to stay away from it because like my show is really more like to the educating artist part. So like I'll be like, should I do that? You know what I'm saying? Even like with you, like my
Mhm.
show, like some like 'cause I get a lot of like new artists that hit me up and they're like, yo, Chase, I want to like get on the podcast, or they listen to the podcast because they know I'm always dropping industry gems. So I have like somebody like you on there, like, how to approach a podcaster or like things like that. So I gotta get used to like, the pop culture topics.
Oh yeah, I completely
Yeah,
understand. I mean, it's just my line of work. I kind of you get
yeah,
ingrained with it. Now for me, I don't really submerge myself into it, but I pick
yeah.
up on it. I talk about Takai. I've done a couple episodes about Takashi. I've talked about a bunch of different celebrities because I know people want to hear about it. Takashi at one point, I mean, probably still is one of the most talked about people in the industry,
Yeah,
right?
he did some
So,
bozos. He did some bozo stuff today, though. I wasn't really feeling that.
what did he do? I didn't.
Yeah, he did. He did. He posted like this. He's reacting King Von getting shot, like on the floor with a King Von t-shirt. It was terrible. I was like, bro, you bugging with that one. It was terrible. I wasn't. As a music, somebody who does music, it was totally disrespectful. Like it was just like, I hope all that money is worth it, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? The money can't be worth that. Like, it was stupid. It was stupid.
Right. I'll give my 2 cents on that real quick, but for me, I don't get too much into it because I know that kind of thing, people hear it, some people get upset. Now, with Takashi, I talked about it a few times, and for me, again, I'm not saying he's the greatest thing of all time, he's the best, but I see sometimes what he's talking about, right? When he talked about how people be talking about smoking Tuka, right? But he talks
Yeah.
about King Von and people, start going crazy. Stuff like
Nah,
that.
but
It's just like,
wait till you see what he. Matter of fact, I'm gonna send it to you right now so you can see it.
uh-oh.
It was terrible. It was bad. It was beyond bad. Like this was probably the most stupidest trolling thing. And it was honestly it was a little racist too.
But you know why he do it? This is the society we live in where negative publicity is the best publicity, right? Gorilla Glue Girl, people eating Tide Pods and doing the licking ice cream and putting it back in the freezer at the
Yeah.
supermarket. Like this is just the world we live in now, right? Everybody's trolling to get famous. Everybody's pushing the boundaries.
But the money's not worth it, bro. Like you see, you at the end of the day, that's not gonna get you an acting job. That ain't
Right.
gonna get you a record deal. Well, it might get you a record deal, but it won't get you like longevity. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta walk. And at the end of the day, you still gotta walk out in these streets by yourself.
Right. That's why I keep myself tamed, but I also realize too with the music industry, it's completely different because I
Yeah,
know people in the music industry. Acting is not the same.
yeah,
Actors make a lot of money, right? But they don't walk around with the chains, the jewelry, and do
yeah,
disc records, right?
yeah,
So I think with music, especially in today's society, I talked about this a couple times on my podcast, but gang violence, well, I want to say gang violence, gang culture,
Mm.
trolling is like, I hate to say it, but it's kind of what's making the music industry or hip hop big now. Is
But you're
people
not really. It's getting. But you know, me, I have my label, so I'm gonna say this. It ain't doing that well for the fact that like at the end of the day, it's not getting you shows, and that's how you make your money. You ain't really making no
right?
money off your streaming. You making money off your shows. So you know all that trolling and stuff like that, all that dead. You gonna be dead. A whole bunch of dead rappers with no talent and living on. It's only making the companies more money. It's not making the artists more money, but it's making the companies more money.
And that's why they do it. That's why
Mm-hmm.
they allow it. And I won't get too much into it, but I that's one of the things I talk about is the music industry. And I'm not an artist. I'm not into the music industry, so I won't talk about it too much. But I do notice, Pop Smoke and King Von and all of them. I talk about this where all these black young rappers are getting killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the record labels are making money,
They're making money. They're
money,
making money. Yeah.
and their families ain't getting nothing.
Nope.
So I, I mean
Nope.
that's the society, right? That we live
Yeah.
in. They again, maybe I'm wrong here, but I think the music industry love the fact that Takashi's trolling people
Oh
and
yeah,
upset. And
especially the Europeans. Like the Europeans, they love that because and once again, if you check I just sent it to you in DM, right? If you look at that, it's so racist and it was just disgusting. Like it was like, come on, dog. Like we know, you know what I'm saying? Is racist as hell. Because you would never do that to no Spanish artist or no white artist, but you would do that to a black man who, you know what I'm saying, died like that. You know what I'm saying? That was cold. That wasn't right, you know?
it's sad to
Mm.
see, man. And
Mm.
but you know what? You know why he do it? Because he know he's going to get a reaction.
Oh
People going
yeah.
to keep talking about him. And I think the key to everything is if people don't want him to continue being famous, I'm not trying to stop nobody from making money. That's not my objective. But if people want him to get off the planet and fade to irrelevancy, they got to stop watching his videos. They got to stop making diss videos against them. They got to stop, trying to promote. Because, like I said, any publicity nowadays is good publicity. So for him, he does videos like this. He already knows at least 1,000 people is going to do a reaction to it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
especially in the music industry. So
Mm.
for him, he's going to continue building his career. I wouldn't do it personally, but you know, it's Takashi, right? The
Yeah.
snitch, the guy who took down his whole gang.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what do you expect here?
Word, man. So let me ask you this question before we get out of here. Maybe we're gonna do this again because we got a lot to chop it up about,
Mhm.
right? Your YouTube channel. What's your objective? What do you think you're gonna start talking about more on YouTube channel? Like you're gonna get to I know you say you favor kind of like Hassan Campbell, but what's gonna be your niche? Like what do you feel like your niche should be?
My niche, it's kind of what he do, but not to the extreme of what he
Okay.
does. So I will continue talking about celebrity gossip because for me, when I do YouTube, the videos that do well is when I react to big, you know, controversial celebrity gossip stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably continue doing that. It's tricky because for me, it's a lot of work to do YouTube and a podcast because I'm busy trying to schedule host guests for mine
Yeah, that's too
and
much. Yeah, that's a
record.
lot. Yeah, like what I do, I just take this video and put it right on YouTube.
I,
Yeah.
I probably should do that, but sometimes it depends on the guest, right? Like you
Mm-hmm.
said, we'll do this again. I think the key is to have guests that bring entertainment, right?
Yeah.
I've had great conversations with them, but the presentation is just
Trash. Yeah.
yeah, like nobody. I don't even like watching it. When I'm editing it, I'll be like, I'm not putting this up. There's just no way.
Because people are
Um,
awkward. Some people are not meant to be just like on joint. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some people just not meant to be like, I had to learn that too. Even like the rappers. Like I had a rapper one time, he was on, but it wasn't this was before I did the video. This was like last year. And he was so dead. I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I had to like drag the answers out of him.
I hate that. Yo, I talk about this all the time. Like people, if you're gonna reach out to somebody and be on somebody's podcast platform, bring energy. I hate when people do that. Like there was an episode I recorded 2 weeks ago. I'm not using it because the energy was just it was just bad. Like
Damn.
the girl just rambled on forever. She talked 15 minutes in the intro about how she grew up. I'm like, and then it was just I hated that conversation. It was 2 hours of my life that I wasted. I'm not getting back. You know, I got a wrinkle in my forehead because of
it. Damn. You don't want that. You don't want that smoke.
Nah, like I said, I'll be trolling people. You know, but I think as long as when you have these conversations and two people understand what entertainment is and how to draw people in, that is when the magic happens. Not when you just sitting back and just trying to promote yourself, you know. So for me, I didn't come on here to say, "Oh, look at me," you know, I got the cool hair and the sunglasses, and no, I'm here to have a conversation with you, and hopefully somebody listen to it and enjoy it. And that's the key part of what I do is to entertain the people.
There you go, man. Like I said, man, dog, we could do this all day, man. Thank you so much for coming on. You know, I know the California living is, you know, it's beautiful out there, beautiful weather, man. Any projects that you have coming up, but like any big things you want to promote?
Yeah, so I got an upcoming video with Vice, the YouTube channel coming out soon. I got another one with Jubilee. Is called Anti-Vaccine versus Pro-Vaccine COVID edition. So that's coming out, I think, next month. And you know, I got more episodes coming on my podcast. I got another episode dropping next week. So you know, look out for me. For me, I always tell people watch those videos that I'm in because people just be roasting me. You know, they look at the hand stuff. But yeah, you know, you can check me out on Instagram at Mr.NoDaysOffPercy. I use that pretty much. That's my main source of social media. I'm on Facebook as Percy Brown. The Prince of Fresh Air podcast is on all platforms, Anchor as well, Spotify. I'm also on YouTube, the Prince of Fresh Air. And, you know, don't be afraid to DM the most charismatic man in entertainment.
Copy. You know what I wanted to ask you too? That's your little brother that went to Oswego?
Yeah.
You know, I went there. I'm an Oswego. I didn't graduate. I'm an Oswego veteran, dog. I meant to ask you that. Really? Yeah. I went to SUNY. I went to Cayuga. I was staying in Cayuga.
Man,
I'm Oswego.
Oswego's a nice school. When we dropped them, I was like,
they changed it. Man, that shit was the jailhouse when I went there. I went there in 05. That shit was it was just hot. It was extremely hot. That shit was the jailhouse when I went there, bro.
No, it looks good. Like
I ain't been up there in a minute. Yeah.
Where I forgot what dorm.
He's on the water side. He's on Oneida. That's the water side. He got the suites. He's in the suites. Yeah, all the girls was in the suite joint. I was in those are the suites. They had me in the projects in Cayuga. Cayuga was like right there. So like it was between So but they got a bomb ass communications department now. We fought for that when we was there, but they got a bomb ass communications department. So I'm an Oswego. You know, I come from that lineage of that.
Man, no, that's a nice school. I was like, he made a good choice. You know, St. Bonaventure. St. Bonaventure was most known for their D1 athletics. So we had a lot of state of the art gyms and equipment.
Nah. So we go maybe the man I am today. So tell him good luck for me, dog. Tell him don't drink too much. Don't stay away from Bridge Street.
It's too late. It's too late. He already fell into the trap.
Damn, yo, listen, we partied hard when we was there, bro. We partied hard. But man, like I said, man, give all your social medias, bro. Thank you for coming on the show, man. Give all where they can find you. And also plug how can somebody get an interview on your podcast as well.
Yeah. So, you know, just again, if anybody missed it, my Instagram is at Mr.NoDaysOffPercy. You can reach me on Facebook. You'll recognize me, the guy with the Goku hair. I'm on Facebook at Percy Brown, YouTube, the Prince of Fresh Air, and you can go to anchor.fm. It's on all my social medias. You can find all my social media links there. And if you want to join the podcast, DM me. Instagram is the best way. But if you want to be on, just let me know who you are. Send me a bio. Let me know what you want to talk about. And let's get something going. Bring your personality, bring your energy, and most importantly, have a conversation with the most charismatic man in entertainment.
There you go. I got an interview for you too. We're gonna talk off air too. I got somebody I want you to interview for me. But we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, I got you, man. It's DJ Chase, man, the pregame party mix podcast, man. Percy, Prince of Fresh Air Brown. Just thank you for coming on the podcast, man. 17 podcast networks. You know the vibes, man. Dynasty Radio, Monday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday nights on that YouTube, DJ Chase TV, on that Anchor app, Apple, Spotify, and all the with podcasts, Soul, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, all of that goodness. We on all the networks. iHeartRadio. It's DJ Chase, the pregame party mix podcast. Gia. DJ Chase TV.
It's official. Come on. Locked in with DJ Chase on the pregame party mix podcast.